Hey guys, so I'm back today with another video, and yeah, today I'm gonna do a story time. I haven't ever done a story time video, so definitely let me know if you like it. Give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more story times, then definitely let me know in the comments below. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Catfish. It's on MTV, and it is hosted by a guy named Neve and Max. And basically, they get emails from all around the world with people who are in like a long distance relationship, whether it be, you know, online. Well, I guess most of them are online, but I mean, basically it's to do with someone you met. Well, you never actually met them, but it's to do with someone that you've never actually met, and you know, you become in a relationship with them, whether it be, you know, some people, oh my gosh, were in relationships for 10 years, I think. There was a couple stories like that, I believe, where the two were in a relationship for like 10 years and never met each other. They just had to go by with what they sent, either pictures of themselves through the phone or you know, just by them talking. A lot of times some people don't even talk on the phone. It's just like through texts or emails and chats and stuff. So it's really crazy that you know, all these people write into them with their stories on how they think that they're getting catfished. You know, usually the signs are, if you're getting catfished, which is basically, okay, so let me explain what catfish is. You know, the term catfish is basically when you're saying you think you might be getting catfished. The person you're talking to, whether it be a boy or girl, you know, a guy or a woman, and you don't actually, usually the person makes an up excuse when you go to meet up, or they like they will want to Skype or like video chat, and there's always something that comes up. Either their phones, you know, doesn't have a camera, or their computer is broken with the webcam. Whatever it be, there's always an excuse why they can't meet, or physically, like with a video chat where you could talk to the person face to face. There's always an excuse. So the reason I am talking about the show Catfish is because I am going to tell you all the story of how I guess I was the catfish. So it was after I got out of high school, which I graduated high school in 2009. So somewhere between that time, after I got out of school, let's see, school probably ended, what, I've been out for so long I don't even remember, June, maybe. Yeah, so somewhere around the end of June, around the summer of the year I graduated high school, I guess I was bored one night, and I remember one of my friends that I actually hung out with outside of school. We hung out a little bit after we graduated, but then we kind of went our separate ways. But I remember her showing me this like, I don't even remember that much. Let's see. It was this website where you could like talk to people that live in your area, and I don't even know if the website still exists, but it was called, you know, I lived in Louisville, so it was called Louisville Mojo was the name of the website. And basically it's where you could get on there. I don't think they were chat rooms. Maybe they were. No, I don't think they were. I don't know. But it was this website. You have your own page. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember MySpace back in the day. Well, it was kind of like Facebook too, where you have like your profile picture and you put your name, and you could put your about me section where you write about you and your interests and stuff like that. And then people on this website can like search you and then like message you and stuff like that. Well, I decided to make me a page because, you know, I was bored one night, and I used to, you know, I had a whole bunch of photos saved on the camera I had at the time, and actually where I used to upload them through my computer, actually onto MySpace, I had them already saved, so I just uploaded some photos, and I think you could add more than one because I think I had a few photos on there. And if I could insert pictures, or if I figure out how to, I will insert pictures of the ones I actually posted, because it actually has a lot to do with this story. So anyways, I posted pictures, and you know, wrote my name, you know, I set up a profile, and then like I got an overwhelming amount of like messages within like the first hour of having it, which was crazy because, you know, I was only used to, at the time, I didn't even have Facebook. It was, like I said, around the time MySpace was a thing. So at the time, all I had was a MySpace, and I wasn't really used to, you know, because I think with MySpace, you could set it to like be private, so if people like were to search for you, they wouldn't be able to find you, or it wouldn't like show much or something like that. So I definitely wasn't used to getting an overwhelming amount of messages all at once, and I noticed it was like all from guys saying I was cute or whatever, and you know, asking me for my number and if we wanted to talk and all this stuff. And I mean, yeah, I was flattered at first. I mean, like, who wouldn't be flattered, you know, like getting people you know, asked. And you gotta, I mean, keep in mind, in high school I was a very shy person. I, you know, only hung out with girls, never really had any guy friends. It was very awkward when it came to talking to guys. I mean, I hardly ever talked to guys. I mean, I was very shy. So, and I never even had a boyfriend or kissed anybody, I mean, until after high school. So, you know, keep that in mind, that when I was, you know, setting this profile of me up, It was very new to me. So, anyways, I started messaging some guys, and, I mean, some of the guys were, you know, like creepers, wanting to send me to send, like, nudes and stuff like that, and, you know, if I wasn't even comfortable talking to guys up until this point, no, and I would never do that anyway. So anyways, I actually started talking to this one guy, for the purpose of this video. Let's say his name was George. Okay, so this guy George, you know, he asked for my number, so I just decided, you know, what's the harm in giving him my number? And then I believe that night he called me, and I remember staying up all night. You know, like I said, it was during the summer, and I was already graduated from high school, so I didn't really have a job at the time either, so I was able to stay up all night and stuff. So anyways, I stayed up all night with this guy, and just talking, you know, getting to know him and stuff. And anyways, fast forward to, you know, well, we hit it off good. You know, it was starting to get, you know, real late, since we were, well, or real early, however you want to put it. We were on the phone for a long time. I mean, I would say it was like 6 or 7 hours, just getting to know each other, talking, laughing. I mean, we definitely hit it off. And, you know, that was the first night. I mean, like I said, we were on the phone so long that we kind of like ended the conversation. And then, you know, I thought maybe it was just a one night thing. You know, like I said, I was very new to this. Like I said, I never really talked to guys much in school, and I was very shy. So something about the fact that I guess this person that I was talking to on the other line, he didn't know what I looked like. I mean, yeah, he saw my pictures, but I was able to be myself because I wasn't in front of this person, if that makes sense. So, I don't know, I opened myself up, and, you know, we talked, and an hour turned into 6 or 7 hours. So, anyways, we got off the phone, and, you know, I didn't think much of it. I just thought, oh, it was probably just a one-time thing. It was nice while it lasted, you know. I had a really great conversation with this person, and, you know, we were going to leave it at that. Well, then the next day, he called, and we talked some more. So, I think we talked, if that's, you know, I know that was a term back in the day, but it wasn't like we were talking to date. I mean, we didn't even meet each other yet. So, and I say yet because it's coming. So, anyways, I think a week goes by of us just talking a few hours every day, and then he asked if I wanted to meet up, you know. He actually, like I said, this website was for people that lived around the same area as I. So he actually lived not too far from where I lived. And here's where it starts to turn a little bit catfish. So he asked if we could meet up. You know, he said he would like to take me on a date, and you know, we hit it off so well that he would like to, you know, get to know me better in person and all this stuff. So I was hesitant, and you're probably thinking, well, you know, like, he's seen pictures of you, so he knows what you look like. Why would you be hesitant? Well, here's where my pictures play a key into this. The pictures I sent, yes, they are of me. It's not like I took, like some people off the show Catfish. They'll actually take pictures of other girls or, you know, guys or whoever and pretend that that's them. No, I didn't do that. I used, you know, they were pictures of me, but I was very good at taking pictures at the right angles, meaning that I knew exactly how to hold the camera and tilt my head with my chin facing down, and, you know, where my hair needed to be. Like, I knew exactly how to take pictures. But yeah, I got very good at taking pictures with the right angles. And even like group photos where, you know, you have to like, because none of the pictures were of my body. I always managed to get it just from the waist up. And at the time, you know, like, I was a lot thinner in my arms and in my face. So when I would hold the camera a certain way, it didn't appear like I was heavy at all. And even, like I said, with group photos, I would know how to stand, like, in between people, like in between my friends, to kind of give the illusion that I looked thinner than I was. And, you know, at the time, there was no, like, Facetune or anything, any kind of app like that. I don't even think there was touchscreen phone. Well, no, I think there was, maybe the first iPhone was out, but nevertheless, what I'm trying to say is there was no way to alter my photos in any way. I just knew how to hold the camera. Now, if I try to do that now, you could probably still see, you know, some of my chins. Or, you know, that I'm a little heavy because, of course, I've gained weight since then. But anyways, back to the story. So the George, he asked me, you know, if we could meet, and I was hesitant, and I made up an excuse. Of course, I said, well, you know, not today, I'm busy, I have plans, you know, I gotta do this, gotta do that. I just, you know, basically stalled. And, you know, he didn't think nothing of it because it's only been a week. And he was very understanding and really nice. So he said, oh, that's fine. Well, you know, we could maybe try for another time. So, you know, we kind of left it at that. Well, I think a few more days go by. Again, I think we might have been talking still every day. And I've really, you know, started to really like this guy. I mean, he was easy to talk to, and, you know, I would talk to him for a few hours, and it felt like only a few minutes because time went by so fast, you know. And, anyways, a few days go by, and he asked if we could try to meet up again. Well, I don't know what the excuse was this time, but I always had an excuse. One of the last times he tried meeting up with me, he actually said, because I don't know if when one of the times that we talked, I mean, we talked for so long each day. I could have told him at any time, but one of the times that we talked, I must have told him that I lived around a certain area, and he knew where that was. So one of the last times that he actually tried to meet me, he said he was actually in the car, right by where he said, like right where I told him that I said I lived by. So I thought I had up the enough courage to tell him that, you know, okay, well, just come meet me then, you know. But no, I was so nervous because, like I said, I was overweight, and I was scared that he would think I was fat or wouldn't like me once he saw me in person. So, but I did feel bad because he was actually right by my house, you know. And I said, well, you know, I kind of gave him a hint as to what street I lived on. I had no clue that he would actually know where that was, but he did, sure enough, and he drove down the street. And I was in my room at the time, but I had my blinds open, and I could see him driving real slow past my house, and my heart was just thumping a mile a minute. I could feel it beating out of my chest. And acted like I was like the service was cutting in and out. And then that's when I think I turned off my phone, and I kind of just threw it on my bed. I remember this. I threw it on my bed, and I was just crying because I desperately wanted to meet him. I wanted to. I mean, I had really strong feelings for this guy, but I was so nervous that he would think that, you know, if he saw me, he would not want to give me the time of day. And, you know, honestly, now, looking back, yeah, I should have just met him because, you know, you have to, I mean, you can't live your whole life worried what somebody's going to think of you. But I mean, I don't know, I guess the reason I didn't want him to see me was I was so scared that I was going to lose, like, this friend I made. Like, well, I consider him more than a friend, but it was just so nice being able to talk to him every night for a few hours and just tell him how my day was. And I was so scared that he wouldn't want to do that anymore, which he probably wouldn't. I mean, he might have wanted to be my friend or something if, you know, things didn't go good, but I was so scared that I was gonna lose what we had, because if he saw me, he would be disappointed. That's when I shut off my phone. You know, I overthought things, and I just shut off my phone and threw it on the bed, and I just started crying. And I remember still looking out my window to see when he drove by. Oh, and the reason I knew it was him was because, first of all, he told me he was on my street. But second of all, I think one of our conversations, he had told me what kind of car it was that he drove. So I knew what kind of car he was in. So I think I had my phone off for, I don't know, I left it off for like a few hours because I was so scared to turn it on and then have to deal with why I didn't meet him. So when I turned on my phone, you know, I don't think he left like a voicemail or anything like that, because I don't even think back then people, well, you know, friends or anything left voicemails. Usually the only people that left me voicemails were my grandma and my parents. But anyways, I turned my phone back on, and I had this long text message, which the phone I had, I think it made it, my phone kept going off because the text was so long. You remember, like, on old phones, how if you got a long text, it would, like, send in, like, segments? Yeah, it was so long that I think my phone beeped, like, 5 or 6 times. I don't even know. It's crazy. But anyways, the text was just, like, him, and, you know, I could tell he was upset just by how he was texting, which, I mean, I would be upset too. I mean, I turned off my phone and ignored him, you know, so I didn't have to deal with it. But anyways, the text said, basically, I don't remember, but it said something like, you know, I really did like you, and I wanted to see if we had something, but I just can't do this anymore, you know. I've already, you know, wasted, I think it might have been 2.5 months. And he said something like, I already wasted 2.5 months, you know, getting to know you, which, you know, I thought there was something there, but obviously you don't want to meet me for whatever reason, and if you're not ready, that's fine. I just can't do this anymore, basically is what it said. And as I read that, I just started crying because I knew I had lost him. You know, I didn't really think, you know, when I turned off my phone, I just thought about my feelings and how I was going to feel if he didn't accept me or end up liking me for me, and once he saw me, him not wanting anything to do with me. I didn't think about how he felt or how me doing this was pushing him away, and that was another way I could lose him. Well, that's when I messaged back. Like I said, about 3 hours after I had left my phone off, when I finally turned it on, I messaged him back through text saying, sorry, I'm so sorry, my phone died. And, you know, this is where I said my phone died and I couldn't find my charger. And, you know, or I said something like, my charger's messed up, which at the time my charger actually was messed up because my parents' dog chewed it up, would always chew on my phone cords, because at the time it was a puppy and it loved to chew on any type of cord, and it would always chew up my charger cord, so I would have to get those replacement ones from Walmart and stuff all the time to replace my charger. So that wasn't a lie, but I mean, I think I had a new charger at the time anyway, so it's not like if my phone was dead I could have charged it, you know, but my phone wasn't even dead, so that on its own was a lie. So anyways, I texted him saying, I'm sorry, my phone died, I didn't mean to, and, you know, I couldn't find my charger, or my charger was messed up, something, and I never got a reply back. So at that point, I knew I screwed up. I knew I lost him at that point. I knew that this person that I had such a good connection with, that I could spend hours and hours, day in and day out, talking to on the phone, I lost him. Or at least I thought. So a few months go by, and of us not talking, me not, you know, him not texting me. I know I tried texting him to, you know, say I'm so sorry and apologize, and but at this point, you know, I never heard anything back. So after like a week of me trying to tell him that I'm sorry for what I did, and that I really did want to meet him and all this stuff, after a week of me not hearing from him, I thought that was going to be it. You know, I thought I really screwed up. I just missed out a great opportunity with a great guy that I could have had a potential with, you know, like, what if he did, you know, like what he saw in person, and he wanted to give us a chance, or, you know, what if we did hit things off? You know, it left a lot of what ifs, and the fact that I didn't know because I never gave it a chance, I never gave us a chance, I never, you know, let him see me to give us a chance. I thought I screwed up, and I thought that was it. But so fast forward a few months, you know, like I said, this was in the summer of 2009, and I was 18, but I was about to turn 19, and for my 19th birthday, I don't know how, but my dad and his brother, which is my uncle, decided to let me and my cousin, which it's my cousin's dad, so that's why it's my dad's brother. So anyways, that's not the point. The point is, they decided to let us have like a combined birthday party slash Halloween party, because I think there was some Halloween decorations, because it was all during October, because that was when my birthday was. So anyways, there is cops get called, a lot of drinking's involved. It's not, well, cops doesn't get called, but cops show up, and there's drinking involved, and I still had George's number in my phone, and yeah, being drunk and having somebody that you never really got to meet slash get over, because I was still kind of hung up on this guy, does not mix. But that's all I'm going to say for now. If you want to know more with how this story ties into the time where, what shall I call it, birthday party slash cops show up slash talking to the person I catfished again, if you want to know how that ties in with that story, then give this video a thumbs up and stay tuned, because I let y'all know, and it gets juicy. So anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.